Story 1. My school had 3 lockdowns in the same day, partially because of it. The first one was triggered when someone reported a man walking down the road toward the school with a hunting rifle. This sent us into a lockdown around lunchtime. Then, a few students holed up in the band room started spreading rumors that someone had a clown mask and a knife in their bag, which led to the second lockdown. Half an hour into that one, the new rumor became that a clown-masked man was hiding in the woods outside the school. After that, the day was essentially over, and I spent about 2 hours in a woodshop closet for almost nothing. Story 2. I saw a man dressed as a creepy clown driving down a busy street in a convertible. There was another man dressed normally sitting in the passenger seat. People were staring, and at every stoplight, he would give creepy looks to the cars next to him and to people on the sidewalk. Then he would look at his friend, and they would both start laughing. Story 3. Turns out there were only a handful. No one was killed by a clown. McDonald's did retire Ronald for a while. It was very foolish. The year 2025 is even more foolish. Story 4. It was a few random people doing it as a joke. Turned into a huge event because the horror movie was coming out. People thought it was a marketing campaign, which increased its popularity and caused more people to do it so they could appear on the news. Story 5. In Sonoma, California, they tried that, and everyone at the popular bar down the street chased the guy because they were going to beat him. The police were called because drunk people screaming is very loud. They came and helped the guy, or he got away, who knows? Story 6. I do not know. It is a bit unsettling to be walking down the street and see a random clown. It is more unsettling when it happens multiple times in a week. However, it is ultimately harmless. I did not even realize it was a thing until I told a friend I had seen a few clowns lately, and he told me it was in the news. Story 7. Turned out that arguably the most famous of the clown sightings just happened to be in my hometown. It was a promotion for a local movie. Story 8. I was working at a pizza place and had to do the cash drop from the night before. I drove to the bank and had to park farther away than usual. As I walked up the sidewalk, I looked up and saw a fully dressed clown with fake blood all over him staring at me. He was about 40 feet from the door on the opposite side, the same distance as I was. As I started to walk to the door, the clown did as well. When I sped up, he did too. I thought for sure I was going to get mugged. When I ran inside, the bank remotely locked the door to keep the clown from coming in. They called the police, but before they arrived, the clown was gone. No one knew where he went. He just walked away from the door and vanished. I know I wasn't going insane because the teller said they saw him, and they saw him approaching on the camera when they also saw me running. I never saw another clown in my area after that. Story 9. My brother ran away and my mom went to get him. She was wearing clown-like pants, bright yellow and blue. From afar, my brother saw my mom and really thought she was a killer clown. He started running back home as fast as he could. When he told me and my mom, she started laughing very hard. Story 10. I tried to get involved for fun, but then remembered I live in an area where everyone and their grandmother is carrying a concealed weapon. Story 11. I think it was initially viral marketing for information technology that got out of hand in the spirit of the internet. Story 12. It is quite sad. Really? Those who were honked at are all gone. Marked by some kind of curse or just taken out quietly. I do not know, but one thing is certain. They are still out there, waiting for that infinite scarf of theirs to dry. Story 13. My friend had an encounter with one. She thought it was only people trying to be edgy and were not actually dangerous, so she did not pay attention to the media. She was about to leave her gym one night, quite late, and as she was about to open the glass doors, she spotted a person dressed as a clown at the edge of the parking lot. It was a small lot, and her car was not far away, but the person spooked her. She was thinking about leaving when the individual charged at the glass doors and acted as if trying to get in. She ran back inside to get help. When she returned with staff, the person was gone. Staff escorted her to her car and apparently gave the security footage to the police, but she never heard anything back. She had a hard time returning to the gym for a while and switched to daylight hours. She still cannot say whether it was an over-the-top and tasteless prank, or if she encountered someone taking advantage of the hysteria to actually try to hurt someone. Story 14. My dad felt like it on vacation out of state just for a laugh. He told us about it the next day, expecting laughter and support. Story 15. I did not see one personally, but I remember sleeping on my hardwood floor because I was paranoid that a clown would peek through my window. Someone saw a clown near my school and many people, including me, did not show up. Story 16. This took place in Colorado. I was driving back home from a 2 a.m. fast food run because I was really craving a burger and had been playing video games all night. I drove through an underpass that is not exactly a wooded area, but there are enough trees around that the lane feels more enclosed. Just as I reached the beginning of the curve, I spotted a mass of color ahead, off to the side of the road behind the guardrails for that turn. As soon as my car's headlights were aimed directly at that strange color and I was physically closer, I immediately recognized what it was. Before the initial shock registered, its head turned, looking right at me as I drove past. It never took a step or did anything other than turn its head in my direction as I quickly left the area. Story 17. This is closer to 2014. I was in 8th grade, and this strange older teenager who lived in my neighborhood was dressed as a clown. He was yelling at us from across the street, and we just ignored him. My friends and I thought he was just trying to be annoying at first, but then we realized he was carrying a kitchen knife. He started sprinting at us. Story 18. I was coming home at night, and my small street was dimly lit. As I approached my driveway, I saw a guy in a clown outfit about 30 feet away, standing in the middle of the street with a baseball bat. I stopped, contemplating what my next move should be and what his would be. He started walking toward me slowly, dragging the bat behind him on the asphalt. Freaked me out. Then I remembered I was in a car. I floored the gas and sped toward him. The guy immediately broke character, jumped to the side, and took his mask off. He was a stupid teenager from a few houses down, just trying to copy the clown scare going around. Story 19. I was just starting my journey as a 911 dispatcher in upstate South Carolina when all this began. We received several emergency calls about clowns standing on the side of Interstate 85 late at night and early in the morning. Then there was the man who thought it would be funny to dress up as a clown and scare his girlfriend. She swerved off the road, hit him with her car, and then drove away. She called emergency services to report that she had killed a person and wanted to speak to an officer. She did not realize who she had run over until the police were taking her statement. He survived. Story 20. My feeling on this is that it started as a marketing campaign. I seem to recall IT was released that year. Then it went viral and everyone started to participate. Story 21. I had forgotten all about this. The school where I work locked down after another school in the same town, 2 miles away, reported someone in a clown mask patrolling the grounds. Our management loved it, running around excitedly in high-visibility vests and walkie-talkies like they were in a movie. When I got home, I saw the photo one of the children in the other school had taken of the clown, which had sparked the whole hysteria in the first place. It was clearly an old lady with dyed orange hair and a big jacket walking on the path next to the school. This happened in Scotland. Story 22. There were clowns sometimes around the university campus and nothing happened. Then the information technology movie came out and they stopped. It seemed pretty obvious to me that it started as a marketing thing. Story 23. Calling them unidentified aerial phenomena feels like they were something other than a couple of idiots trying to get internet famous. Story 24. My neighbor's child was doing this in rural West Virginia. The child was only about 8 or 9 years old, but I saw him standing in the woods wearing a full clown Halloween costume twice. He would just stare as you drove by. Story 25. I remember being in college and hearing people say they were going clown hunting. I am still not completely sure if that meant just looking for clowns or attacking them, but no one ever found any despite rumors of clowns on campus. Story 26. I was in college during that time. All the redneck fraternity members got in their trucks to go clown hunting. Police had to be called in to stop them. Story 27. I remember a few videos of people standing up to them. They faded out shortly after. Story 28. In my town, there had been reports of people dressing up as clowns and scaring others in parks late at night. He was in the news a lot. There was no real crime, just spooky situations. So, a couple of friends and I grabbed some paintball guns and set up in the parks, hiding in bushes and trees. We did that for 4 nights. Eventually, we saw a clown hanging around one of the parks. We started by shooting paintballs at the ground or trees near him, but when he didn't leave, he got a couple of shots on his backside. He ended up running down the street to his car and leaving. We were not trying to be vigilantes, we just thought, two can play at this game. It was probably stupid, but we were just dumb high schoolers. Story 29. One of them got me good. But the guy laughed and then went right back into the shadows like the Homer meme. To be honest, it fit the moment. Story 30. I remember my friends and I trying to find clowns in Southern California. We would find dark roads and see if we could spot any. We had a Batman mask and some bats. We were vigilantes. Story 31. I remember playing basketball at the park one evening in a 5-on-5 game. There was a thick tree line near the court. We all heard clown-like laughing. Sure enough, 4 of them were peeking from behind the trees. Some of the kids were getting scared, so a few of us took off after them. I think they were harmless, just trying to go viral. Story 32. I had a pretty good clown outfit and liked having the opportunity to wear it around town. I would do things like go buy donuts. The goth donut shop trend also peaked where I live at this time. Story 33. There was someone in my town who was killed by one of those clowns, either wearing a Freddy Krueger glove or an Edward Scissorhands type glove. Luckily, they caught him. Story 34. I saw one when I was driving home one night in the Greater Toronto area. I hang out late with my friends many nights, coming home around 2 a.m. I live in a town approximately 45 minutes north of the city. One was just wandering around a stoplight intersection that has no sidewalks, kind of walking around in the road. He walked towards my car as I was at the light. I rolled down my window and told him if he took a step closer, I would get out and harm him. He hissed at me and walked away. Story 35. The first video was a promotion for Six Flags New England Freight Fest. Then it took off from there for some reason not even related, maybe for information technology. Story 36. Someone dressed as a clown stood by the local Taco Bell, just looking at people. That was about it, with people simply joining the trend. Story 37. There were very few in Sweden, but one late evening when I was working alone in my store, 3 kids who were regulars ran in shouting they were chased by a clown. I thought, yeah, not buying that. But just for safety, I looked outside, and there was indeed a creepy clown standing across the parking lot. I asked another regular in the store, who was also a teacher at the same school the kids attended, to keep an eye on them. I took out a baseball bat from under the counter and went outside. The clown probably set a new world record because he took off like the Roadrunner. I'm certain the clown was just a teenager doing a prank and not out to harm anyone. But it was really creepy to see it like that. Story 38. That was a wild time. You would be driving and there would be a random clown on the side of the highway. Sometimes they would come up to your car window or chase you in a parking lot. I want to say it was because Chapter 1 was being marketed for release the following year, but I cannot recall. Story 39. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was when the movie, It, had come out, and the television series American Horror Story, with Twisty. I think it was very much just a trend, short-lived in New Zealand, but still a little scary nonetheless. Story 40. A group of young people dressed as clowns and frightened others. No one was hurt except Harambe and various other celebrities who passed away, but that was unrelated. Story 41. One of them appeared at one of the busiest intersections in town, wielding a running chainsaw. There was a major shopping mall across the street and a police station just steps away. Story 42. I was walking home from the bar in a pretty rural area, the same thing I did regularly at this point in my life. I heard jingling behind me, turned around, and saw a huge clown with a creepy mask tailing me with literal bells on. I ran like hell home. A few months later, I found out that it was a local guy who owned a costume shop, and we became friends for a few years. He was a cool dude. He had heard about the clown sightings and just wanted to get in on the action. Story 43. There was at least one clown in our area who was apparently jumping out and scaring people. A large group of people and I went out on horseback to look for them. It was a great time. Cowboys versus clowns. However, none of us ever saw the clown, so it was more like a mounted neighborhood watch. Story 44. Senior year of college. The campus had a lockdown and canceled classes after noon that day. We got absolutely extremely drunk to celebrate. Story 45. I'll never forget this because instead of going to a school dance, I and four other friends decided to get prepared to go look for clowns one night. We were in Colorado, in Parker and another nearby town, which I don't remember. Most of the night was spent driving up and down the streets, parking, getting out, walking, and repeating. We rounded a corner when one of our friends, looking out the right window, yelled, "Hey, stop, 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 pull over. Do you see that?" We all turned immediately and rolled our windows down, thinking we had seen a clown, but it was just a flickering lamppost in the middle of the street. He then said, "Something's going to happen on this street tonight. I know it. I can feel it. Look at how creepy this road looks, guys." A few hours later, we got tired of looking for clowns and went home to smoke and play video games. The next day, we checked the news, and sure enough, on that exact street, a young woman was attacked by a man in a clown costume with a knife. I don't think she survived. Poor girl, may she rest in peace. Story 46. Are we talking about the person who, through the lack of judgment of a large part of the American population, was elected into office in November? Story 47. After it had become widely discussed, I went hiking and saw someone dressed as a clown. My response was intense disinterest. Story 48. The 2016 clown sightings sparked a lot of fear and media attention. People reported seeing creepy clowns in various places, leading to police involvement and increased public anxiety. It turned out to be a mix of pranks and social media hype. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.